When it comes to attacking dollar, especially the DB Fire 2, one of the most important things you need to understand is how to manipulate zones that aren't the deep zones on the field. In most cases, players that run this defense don't just sit with deep halves on the field to begin with. They're going to start to make some crazy adjustments like outside thirds. In this video, I'll show you how to do that, by the way. But I think it's really important that you understand how to manipulate the underneath zones, namely the vertical hooks and the soft squats. So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys a very simple concept that you guys can utilize to make your opponent really timid underneath with where they want to use her. It's going to make the field feel so much bigger against this defense. Enough yapping, let's roll. What's up, guys? Sam from Blitz Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, we are going to take an approach to manipulating underneath zones in the DB Fire 2. A lot of players struggle with this defense. A lot of players find this channel because you guys are searching for solves for this particular blitz meta. So I want to go ahead and get into some very simple manipulations of the yellow zones and the outside blue zones for this particular defense. Now, with this style of defense, you guys need to understand that this is a cover 2 matching style defense, and most players will in fact use match rules on. And most players will play this defense with their match rules on in the event that they want to audible into cover 6 for matching rules. So a lot of players will carry forward the settings that they run for match with this particular play. And manipulating these zones is really not that difficult. So we're going to stay in a very meta offense. I know a lot of you probably run gun tight.
Shame on you.
I'm kidding, of course, but
what we're going to do here is just set up some freestyle style plays out of this. You see right here with this particular defense, we're going to focus primarily on the vertical hooks. Now with the vertical hook zone, what a lot of players don't know about this is that if you actually run 2 vertical routes, you can really make the defense kind of jump the flat. Vertical hooks are typically zones that drift back over the middle. That's why a lot of players really like them. But with specific route combos in this game, you can actually make them jump out. And this will open up some throws that you traditionally wouldn't expect that you would have. So let me show you what I'm talking about. First thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to run basically a vertical attacking route to Jefferson. Something that just goes vertical off the line. It can actually end up bending out to the corner. It could be something that, as we just showed here at the start of this, would be something that maybe bangs back to the post. But we're going to utilize the other receiver in this formation on a flat. And when you do this, what this does is it opens up the middle of the field because this particular zone will jump to the outside in the flat. This is actually a staple that I utilize within my matching style defense, which is the inverted cover 3 that you can find on gridirongameplans.gg. And when you have match on and you're playing a cover 2 based defense that doesn't have a mid read, these vert hooks do some really crazy stuff. So what you'll see here on this play is that this guy is going to jump straight out to the outside, which opens up the middle of the field. So in this situation, all we really needed to do was have a flat pulling threat and then some sort of route that breaks up the middle in this particular defense. So I could actually go ahead and run something just as simple as a streak that we float, or literally anything, it doesn't matter. And you're going to make that zone pull outside. And this is going to open up the deep middle of the field, which is going to be the area that the user is going to need to be. Now, why is that important? That's important because traditionally they're going to use a one vert hook or the other, depending on what your formation is. And most players are typically going to use the weak side. But with this particular example, what we could do is really open up a ton of field that they have to worry about on this, which would make them have to lurk over here in the middle. So basically what this is going to do is this is going to make it so that the user has to jump onto the running back, which is going to open up a lot of the backside stuff. So you're going to see if we pretend that right linebacker is the user, that's what's going to open up these baby in routes, these quick in breaking patterns that a lot of players traditionally don't throw as many of out of these types of sets. Now, what's really, really cool about the gun tight, especially in the Saints playbook, is that you have some really interesting routes or route combos that kind of accomplish this from a stock standpoint. So if we kind of talk about this Saints spot shake play here in the gun tight, one thing that you actually might be able to do with this is kind of the same drill where you kind of just float this running back on this streak. Maybe you just run like a corner in this quick flat wheel, whatever it is you want to run here on this. But you're going to see that that vert hook is definitely going to fan out, which opens up the deep inside route. So really all you have to do is just make one motion with a streak, and you're going to be good to go on this. Now, this is real simple. This is actually something that's really good for attacking a lot of the dollar meta, but in general with this, what you might be able to do is actually utilize some other, some other route combos that maybe utilize a receiver on this. So maybe we put Watson, for instance, on like a hitch or something, knowing that, in this situation, let me put him back on a hitch, knowing in this situation that if we can get that particular zone to pull outside, that this actually is going to be open in the middle of the field for a throw underneath. And you see right there that we got some matching principles off of this as well. Which brings me to my next point, is that if you guys are in a bunch style set, you might even kind of fiddle around with the idea of maybe running something that looks a little bit like this, because you know that you can get that vert hook to match a corner route and just leave this spot in the middle of the field. That's going to make it rather difficult for a weak side linebacker user in this regard to be able to kind of bite over. So if you imagine they're using Woolen here, something as simple out of bunch is basically streak corner hitch. I know that this is not the best route combo in the world, but you can pull the zones a little bit better. If you suspect that it might be a cover 3 or cover 4, you motion your streak out. But in this situation, that user has to basically bite down. So in this situation, they've got to cheat, which is going to open up your Texas routes. Now you got a low left and a low right that you can kind of occupy the user with in this regard. So manipulating these vert hooks is rather easy. You could do some really interesting stuff with this. Let's take an example, another bunch route combo that I think you guys would actually really like, which is actually just going to be something as simple as going ahead and maybe doing a little streak corner, and then maybe even kind of doing a max protect style thing, where we actually just kind of do a baby motion snap. And what you should see is that vert hook bail, which opens up the backside drag. Now I understand right there we got screamed at a little bit.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
Let's run that again. Again, keying in on Ryan Neal on this play. With this particular example, what we're gonna do is just max protect, run 2 routes on the field, maybe a streak, a corner, and then have a backside drag. And again, I want you to watch how Gronk is going to block, and then that opens up this drag from the backside. This allows us to kind of throw this ball quickly, even if we do get blitzed and our pickup doesn't work. It allows us to have a lot of success with this route combo. In this example, I'm going to motion Gronk across the formation. You'll see here that if we go ahead and motion back, he turns into a blocker. This is a little pro tip as well. This will help you guys out a fair amount with blocking the meta. Now you see that that drag is going to end up being open. And again, I understand I'm getting screamed at right here by this meta, which is why people run it. But again, with this particular example, all you have to do is max protect and then just have kind of 3 routes on the play. Gronk out in motion. And then when we motion him back, he turns into a tight end that actually can block for you. And again, with this, maybe we go ahead and ID the mic over here on this guy so that the running back tries to block him. And again, you see how that drag is completely open on this play. And now we can scamper upfield on a simple check down. So that's kind of manipulating the yellow zones, just all the little ways that you can make them jump outside or match vertically, give up a hitch route in the middle of the field, all kinds of stuff that you guys can do. Let's now move on to the soft squat portion of DB Fire, because I think that this is one that a lot of people have forgotten exactly what soft squats do in this game. So now we're in a 2x2 spread. We're not compressed up like we were in the gun tight. We're not compressed up like we were in the gun bunch. And we're going to manipulate these blue zones, these soft squats. Now, what a lot of players don't know about soft squats is they are 1000% designed to jump anything that goes to the flat. So one thing that I really like to do is a flat comeback combo. And the reason that you do this over maybe a flat fade is that you're going to be able to throw the ball in a better spot where the receiver is slowing down to catch it and they don't run into those deep outside zones. Now, if you want to run this on the wide side of the field, you probably can freeform this. You just want to wait for that flat to jump down. And then you see how here I can freeform this and then rack it down the sideline. That's a tighter throw, especially if they have a deep out elite type zone out there. But the comeback route I really like because the way that it freeforms up is rather nice. And you can see right here that with this flat comeback combo, you can kind of just freeform this ball and he's already stopping, which is nice. It kind of keeps it away from that soft squat that's going to bite down on that. It's really, really easy to be able to manipulate this effectively. And again here, if you want to, you could go ahead and max protect this. You can block the running back. You can actually turn this into a trip style set. The thing that I want to advise you on the trip style is that when you go to this, a lot of times you'll note that the cover 2 cloud flat does still kind of behave a little funky, and that streak can pull the deep half in a little bit. So one thing that you can actually do with this that you guys might enjoy a little bit more is basically fade flat streak. And this is going to be really nice because what it can do for you is keep that half in, and then you could throw this ball out on the sideline. You see that you're going to have a better rack opportunity down the sideline. Now, of course, I totally understand that there are more advanced players out there that are going to make some adjustments to this. So I wanted to kind of deviate and get into a defensive mindset here with this. One thing a lot of players will do is they will activate the safeties package in the dollar and then still call their DB fire. And what this does is it allows them to take their safety on the wide side and put him into an outside third, which gets better width on the play. And with this, it's important to kind of recognize that if the safety's doing something super wild, like they're making some insane plays down the sideline on you, that probably means that they've made this adjustment and that you should immediately be looking to attack the deep middle of the field. Especially read that safety's leverage. If you see him bailing out, you see how that flat pulled the vert hook like we started in the top of the video, talking about how to get those guys to jump out wide. And then what that does is that allows you to throw the ball deep down the middle of the field. While that outside third is so far to the sideline, basically you end up opening up the entire middle of the field. And this is one of the better manipulations that you guys can utilize. So we took the flat vertical that we talked about just about 5-6 minutes ago, and we applied that into this particular set from a more spread out trip style set, which really opened up. This throw would have been open against cover 2, but even with the outside third, it's basically a rack touchdown. So if you catch players that are kind of gambling, sometimes cheating that safety in an outside third, trust me, I would know. I run a lot of this style of defense. Be willing to attack the seams, because that is an area of the field that a lot of players do give up, is this throw that you guys can take down the middle of the field against these safeties that are all the way out on the sideline. Furthermore, if you really lab this up, you can still probably get away with these comeback routes. You could kind of still freeform them. You just need to be really, really careful that if they're intercepting those, they're 100% in an outside third. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. If you start to see that, that's where you really need to just kind of ditch this type of approach. Again, if you're really, really good with your freeform, you might be able to time this up perfectly, but that is quite a squeeze in this. And you're really going to appreciate having something like this in your back pocket, because a lot of players will run DB fire with thirds. So that way they've got those vert hooks kind of cheating in the middle of the field. They've got those soft squats that trap the quick throws to the flats. And then they got the deep sideline covered over the top of the soft squat. The area that's open is definitely the middle of the field. You see how open that is. Just kind of be advised. So there you guys go. Bunch of quick manipulations of the DB fire. This is something that I know gives a lot of people trouble. I've had a lot of people send emails. I've had people DM me. A lot of people requesting content on beating this. Obviously, a lot of people know the sidelines deep can be open if it's a cover 2 blitz or to hit the post, but those are difficult areas of the field to be able to throw to, because this is a good blitz that comes in quickly. So having these timing throws that you guys can use and know exactly what the soft squats and the vert hooks are doing, that can really help you guys out a fair amount. Obviously, if they aren't playing match, you guys are going to be really easily manipulating drop zone, because I think it's truly terrible in this game. So we'll maybe do some more zone content in the future on how to just beat simple zone, but really the best way to play zone is with match on. So I hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. We'll see you guys on Monday. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.